And welcome back to the show. Network Support Services is a non-for-profit organization that's providing rehabilitation and reentry programs for incarcerated people and parolees in New York State. Now, they build communities that are inside and outside of prison by supporting these individuals throughout their journey. Joining them now and sharing a little bit more information, we're pleased to have the Executive Director of Network Support Services Incorporated, Thorin A. Daye. And Thorin, glad to have you with us. And when we talk about incarcerated individuals, we know that one of the greatest challenges is really re-entry into the population, finding a place in the workforce, really just being able to reintegrate in society. And I know that your organization is very intentional in trying to make sure that these bridges are actually built.
Absolutely, Daren. One of the core tenets of Network is that reentry does not start the day that that individual hits the street, and that reentry actually starts the day that that individual is incarcerated. Network is focused on working and dealing with those individuals throughout their incarceration, where on the inside, we build a positive peer environment where individuals begin to grow and establish themselves as the person they want to be. Recently, here on October 1st, we've reconnected with a previous program that used to be part of Network when it first started back in 1979, when Dr. Sherry Clark introduced the total learning environment into the New York correctional facilities, right? It's an amazing environment. It was an amazing growth. And as we grew as an organization, things tend to, wow, where am I going with that one? My apologies, Daren. I got a little sidetracked.
No,
and
no problem.
I lost track of where I was going.
But let me lead you with this one here, because I want to ask you more about when we talk about incarcerated individuals coming into mainstream society. Maybe we're not so familiar. So talk to us about what are some of the challenges that people face when they're trying to re-enter into society, and how your organization is working to try to deal with that.
Some of those challenges, as we are well aware of, are access to stable housing, access to financial means, and coming back to an environment that's meant for them. And the best way that I can really describe that is Network really works with individuals to find out who they are, right? And to center them into who they want to be. And we spend a lot of time with these individuals in our program fostering this type of relationship where they understand that they're at the core of community, right? And they get that from being in an environment where they learn to build community, where they're establishing these relationships with other individuals, unlike the way that we do things out here in the actual community. And the best way that I can describe it to individuals as simply as possible is that Network is constantly generating seeds to be stakeholders in the new community that comes back with these challenges. Unfortunately, we're often trying to plant these seeds in very toxic soil, right? The communities in which these individuals come back to aren't often prepared for them. And as we know, it takes the soil and it takes the seed to make a proper plant grow. So the community that we are establishing here out in the street really needs some work, right, to be remediated, right? We need more people involved in making sure that not in my backyard attitude really gets destroyed, right? Because these are individuals of society who have been separated from society, who are now returning to society. These are returning citizens. They are not citizens, right? And we focus the participant on establishing that goal. They have never lost their sense of citizenship or their sense of community. And that is an extreme barrier when you come back to a community that doesn't want to accept you, right? So we focus on making sure that their response to that thing or to those circumstances is still positive, right? We establish new routes, new goals, and new strategies for them to overcome those hurdles. We provide.
How have you been? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you on that one, though. I wanted to ask you about your effect, because as you're empowering individuals, you talk about meeting them right where they are, and many times that's right there in the prisons before they even hit the streets. So share with me a little bit about the impact that your organization is having within the prison, and then also, that community tie.
Well, thank you, Daren. Network in the Prison is an amazing and very unique organization. We're in currently 8 facilities, men and female, and we really do believe that Network or reentry really starts on the inside, right? As I stated a little bit earlier, getting individuals involved in these peer supported groups is the key in establishing a healthy community, right? We get individuals to focus on behavioral change, and we confront attitudes that are destructive to themselves and to the community. We don't do that by just telling them that. We do that by holding up a mirror and showing them, this is how your behavior has affected me. And here's what I do, and here's what I can say when that affects me. And they get that from that positive peer structure. And it's an amazing environment to see, and it's an amazing environment to be in, right? Because we understand that learning is an everyday process, and it requires a community to build a community. So Network in the Prisons is a community of individuals who are learning to establish themselves to become better individuals.
And so, talk about the contact in terms of going to the prisons. As you go into the prisons, how receptive, if you will, are those who are on the road to really coming back out into the street? A lot of people are like, I got this, I'm good. Or do they find, hey, I really need some help?
The prison population is a very interesting population. It's an environment all of its own. It has its own separate societies, and it has its own separate crews. You have individuals who are highly focused on just wanting to work. You have individuals who are highly focused on just wanting to educate themselves. But network is completely voluntary, right? And what we find is that we are getting the individuals who not only want to work on their education, work on vocational skills, but they want to work on themselves. They want to work on becoming the individual that they know that they can be, and setting forth that positive environment of peers. But that is not it is not the typical environment in which you'll find it in most correctional facilities. It is extremely unique. It's 100% voluntary, and I'm pleased to be involved in it because I know that there are individuals inside of these correctional facilities who are searching for a space. And that's what I'll say Network provides, a space for those individuals to learn and grow, learn and dig into who they want to be, who they were that brought them there, and what systems impacted them to bring them there, and how can they overcome these things to be more successful in life.
You also have a great partnership with organizations in the community. We talk about churches, community-based organizations. We talk about the buy-in from them and understand the importance of helping somebody who's been incarcerated come on out and then be able to have that productive life.
Absolutely. It takes a community to raise a community, and Network is highly involved in connecting with the community. We get a lot of support from our community churches. They offer spaces for us to conduct our community meetings where individuals are mandated to come to by parole to get support. They also support us in our discharge and resettlement services, providing items and donating products for individuals who are returning from incarceration, an amazing support for those individuals. They provide volunteers when we do community events to feed the community and hand out items of need for individuals who need those things. So being wrapped up and involved with so many lives, right? When you're dealing with human lives, you need other human beings to help you make those lives easier, a little less stressful, and more adaptable to the way that we conduct our lives here day to day in the city. A lot of those individuals have forgotten how to do some of those things in the manner in which we do it. So having those community partners to support those individuals in the areas in which we can't are extremely helpful.
Thorin, I want to thank you so much for being with us and sharing so much about the work that's going on. Very impactful and very transformative. It's much needed as brothers and sisters come out of the prison system. We're glad that you can be a bridge to help them to a better and a brighter life. Thanks a lot, brother.
We appreciate you, Darren. Thank you for having me.
All righty, Thorin A. Daye, our guest here. He is the Executive Director of Network Support Services Incorporated. If you want more information, please go ahead and visit them at their website, networkssi.org, and of course, on social media at Network Support Services. Well, we encourage you, please don't go anywhere. We've got more open coming up. We return right after this.